This is a reteach for the TEK A7C transformations of quadratic functions. Okay. What steps transform the graph of y equals x squared to y equals -3 times quantity x plus 4 squared plus 2? So we're going to take this step by step, starting left to right, and write down everything that happened. Then we're going to look at our answer choices. So the first thing that I see is there's a negative sign here. That means we reflected. That's on the outside of the parentheses, so it affects the output. So that means I'm changing the y values, like from positive to negative or from negative to positive. So that's going to reflect it over the x-axis. So reflect, can't write here, over the x. Okay, then the next thing that you see is that 3 there. So I'm multiplying on the outside of the parentheses by a number greater than 1. Anytime I multiply by a number greater than 1, my graph is getting narrower. So I know that. So then I have to decide, does that narrow graph mean a vertical stretch or a horizontal compression? Well, since it's on the outside, again, I'm talking about the output. That's the y-axis. So that's going to be a vertical, since the y-axis is vertical, stretch, because it's stretching out along that y-axis. Then I see the plus 4. That's inside the parentheses, so I'm talking about the input, which is the x-axis. So I'm moving either left or right. Since it's x plus 4, and our rule says x minus c is the one that moves it, that means c had to be negative in order for that sign to change to positive. So that means we went in the negative direction, so that's left 4 units. And then finally we have the plus 2 on the end outside the parentheses. So that's the output, that's along the y-axis, and that's moving up 2. Okay, so we need to read through each of these answer choices and find the one answer choice that says all of that. So reflect across the x, check. Stretch by a factor of 3, yes. Translate 4 units to the right, nope, we need to go left, so it's not A. B, stretch by a factor of 3, yes. Translate 4 to the left, yes. Turn and 2 up, yes, but there's nothing in here about the reflection, so it's not B. Reflect across the x, check. 4 units to the left, yep. 2 units up, okay, but nothing about the stretch. That makes answer choice D the correct answer. I have the stretch, reflect, translate 4 to the left, and 2 units up. Okay, how does the graph f of x equals x squared plus 5 differ from f of x equals x squared? Well, I have the plus 5. That's on the outside, so that's output. So that's along the y-axis, and it's positive. So it's just going to move up 5. It's not going to change the narrowness or the wideness of it because that's a multiplier. So this says translated 5 units up. That's our correct answer. C. The graph of f of x equals x squared is translated 7 units left and 5 units down. Which function represents this transformation? I'm going to write the function 7 units left. That's along the x-axis, so that's input. So it goes inside my parentheses. It's going left, so that means c had to be negative, which would be like x minus -7 to send it left, and 5 units down. That's output, so that's along the y-axis outside the parentheses, so -5. So I'm just going to clean up my double negative sign there. Forgot my squared there. So that is answer choice C. Okay, and then the last two, you have to write the steps that was used to transform the parent function. So the first one, I'm going to start left to right. What happened first? -3. Okay, so I have -3. Okay, so -3 is on the inside, so we're going to be talking about what's happening to our input, which is along the x-axis. So we're moving right or left. And since the 3 is positive, we're going in the positive direction, so this is going to go right 3. And this plus 1 is on the outside, so it's the output, so it's along the y-axis, so it's going to go up 1 unit. Okay, and the last one, the first thing we see is that negative sign, so that's a reflection. And it is on the outside, so it affects the output, which means positive y's are changing to negative y's and vice versa, so it's going over the x-axis. Or you can think about it, you know, you learn that when that's out front, then it makes the parabola open downward, which would be a reflection over the x. And then the 2 makes it narrower, okay, but you have to talk, you can't just say narrower or wider, you have to talk about stretch or compression, horizontal or vertical. So since it is affecting the output, we're talking vertical, and narrower vertically will be a vertical stretch. And that's the end of that one.